The HVLA's mission, which is set out as to advance the inclusion of Latinos across all leadership levels in the United States Armed Forces, military and civilian positions. So it's a solid mission that I don't think anybody can really disagree with, and its board is a bunch of really impressive guys like yourself. And I should say that Hispanic Veterans Leadership Alliance is a nonprofit 501c3 organization. As HVLA has looked at this issue, I guess let me turn to something that is currently put out and commenting on, and maybe it creates a new opportunity to have people look at Hispanics service in the military a little differently. And that is, as the DOD kind of tries to figure out what do we do with these Confederate named bases, and we go through base renaming, there's been some suggestion by the Alliance that you should look at Hispanic military men and rename accordingly. Joseph, can you talk to us a little bit about the thinking here?
Certainly. Part of the mission and vision of HVLA is not just to increase the number, is that the makeup, particularly the senior level, should reflect society as a whole. And society as a whole, has 18% increasing to 20% Hispanics. So we should have that in the senior ranks. For the bases, one of the other things I did prior to retirement is I was the commander of the Marine Corps installations in the Pacific. So the Marine Corps does not have a bunch of bases named after Confederate officers or Confederate folks. And so, the Army does, and in particular. So we felt that, these should be representative of our society. We do have, particularly here, I live in Houston, and not far from here, and as I mentioned, where my father retired from was Fort Hood, named after a former Confederate general from Texas. And we have, several very stellar Hispanic soldiers, two in particular that were both from Texas. And that was, one was Master Sergeant Roy Benavidez, and the other one was General Cavazos. And they, were originally both from Texas, and they're both buried at the cemetery, the National Cemetery, Veteran Cemetery at Fort Sam Houston. So, we felt that it was fitting, particularly with some of the issues that Fort Hood had last year, and they both had experience at Fort Bragg as well. So that's why HVLA says, these would be stellar candidates. General Cavazos not only was the first general officer in the Army, Hispanic, he was the first 4-star general officer, and he has 2 separate Distinguished Service Crosses. That's the next level down from a Medal of Honor, one in the Korean War and one in Vietnam. Really a distinguished man, great soldier. And Roy Benavidez, Medal of Honor winner. And if you understand some of his history, he went to Vietnam the first time in, I believe it was 1965, got injured, came back, was recuperating in the hospital for over a year, was told that he was not going to be able to walk again. He forced himself up to walk, and within a year, he was released from the hospital. And a year later, or 2 years later, in 1968, he found himself was able to convince the Army to let him go back to Special Forces, and went back to Vietnam, where he earned his Medal of Honor. And they thought he was dead then at that time. They actually had loaded him in a body bag and was shipping him back when he started to fight with the doctor. That they said, I guess this guy's not dead. So he came back, later awarded the Medal of Honor. So these 2 soldiers are tremendous records. So we thought they should be fitting and should be considered to be named. Having been a base commander, I know the name of a base carries importance to the service members that are serving there. So, personally, I felt it was wrong having the bases named after Confederate soldiers. But, no matter which way you are on that issue, it's already been decided that they're going to be renamed. So we thought these two soldiers in particular should be considered for the naming of these bases.
I don't know how you could find two better men to honor with naming bases. Roy Benavidez is a Medal of Honor recipient. That right there tells you that his story is above most, both in valor and heroism. And I am familiar with Benavidez' story. I'm not familiar with General Cavazos' story. And as the first Hispanic four-star general, we all should be sort of alerted to that. That's, again, one of those prestigious, you don't get 4 stars for nothing, and his 2 distinguished service crosses are a testament to his valor as well. So those are both great names. Let me ask this. I should know this, and but I guess there's hundreds of bases in Army, Air Force, etc. Are there bases named after Hispanic military men?
Listen to this full episode and more on the Apple Podcasts app, Blog Talk Radio, Google Podcasts, or iHeartRadio. And now streaming on Amazon Music, Audible, and Spotify.